Hi, welcome to the LGBTQ review with me, James, and this is Beth. Today we're going to be talking about some recommendations we have for LGBTQ books.
And Misc. Miscellaneous. My main recommendation. I love it. I love it so much. It's Carol! So originally it was called The Price of Salt, and then they changed the name to Carol. I read it all at once, and it was really good. It makes complete sense. Therese has a backstory. She had a crush on a nun. It has autonomy. It's not just like a rich person being snarky for 2 hours.
That sounds a lot better than my experience of this.
Maybe one of my favourite books ever? It's really good.
Wow,
I don't know why I haven't read it before, probably because I watched the film and I hated it. You understand why they fall in love, which I think is a very important thing that was missing from the film. Also, Patricia Highsmith. Obsessed.
Really?
I'm obsessed.
Okay.
She's fantastic. Have you seen a picture of her age 21?
I feel like the answer's going to be...
I'll put one.
Show me. Wow.
Obsessed. Yeah. Hated people, only liked animals, occasionally had sex with men. Obsessed. Why didn't I know about this for a specific role model before? Yeah, I can't recommend it highly enough. Have you got book recommendations?
Mainly like one. If we're going to talk about it, I should explain why I don't read that much, right? Which is because as a kid, very dyslexic, didn't like reading, was forced to read, hated it, so got turned off, so it's a chore to read. The only time I read really was like academic writing. So reading for pleasure is not ingrained in me. So it takes a lot of work to like do it. But one of the books that I did stick with and loved completely was Perks of Being a Wallflower, which we could talk about. Because if you don't, then I'll be very quiet and just...
It's fantastic.
Are we going to talk about it generally, or do you want to talk about it like how it is written? Because it's written in a certain way, isn't it? Where it's like his...
Letters
yeah.
To an unnamed person.
Yeah, which is like a really interesting way to write a whole book. It's something that I've
it's a device.
Yes.
He's using a device. Great queer character in Patrick. Yeah. It features Rocky Horror, that's great.
Yeah. His
closeted boyfriend sounds like something I wouldn't like, but even that was great.
A lot of the films we've reviewed so far have been books before. Do you think there's a lot of LGBTQ stuff that is book first?
They have to see if something has an audience first, then yeah.
Also, I don't know if it's good that a lot of films do that, where they like rely too much on the book. Audience were like, oh, if you read the book, this makes sense, and there's like stuff that we skip over, but you should know, so it's fine. That's not a good film. Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. Is it good?
No, I didn't like it at all. Also, I feel like if you haven't had a white woman suggest that you read this book at you yet, I don't know what you've been doing. Maybe you're surrounding yourself with, better people. But yeah, it is good, but I didn't really enjoy it. It's hailed as like, oh, see, millennials can write great literary fiction. What is interesting about it is it's really good to see queer characters in situations where they're just exploring their sexuality and themselves in a sort of like nothing really happens. Just thinking about that was quite interesting. It's time for another prop, James. Proud is an anthology edited by Juno Dawson that has a lot of different queer stories and art. There's some art, there's lots of art. There's some art by somebody I went to university with in it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's got some art by Alice Oseman, who is really cool, and I will talk about in a minute. Just some really nice short stories. Queer short stories. It's great, I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend. Heartstoppers, speaking of Alice Oseman, Heartstoppers is a webcomic, and you can buy volume 1 and pre-order volume 2. It's about Nick and Charlie, who are 2 teenage boys. They're like friends for the majority of the book, but it's really, really good. And she draws it herself. It's beautiful, and the writing is really good. I highly recommend that. It's brilliant. Other Alice Oseman things that are good that I have read in the last 6 months. I Was Born for This, which is about a band. And it's got 2 protagonists, one of which is a trans man. So the trans guy's in the band, and then they're like a massive band, they're like One Direction or something. The other protagonist is like a fan, and then their stories their paths cross. And also Radio Silence, is really good. I think it reads like they're asexual, but also I think it reads like they're grey asexual, so I think I'm projecting. I haven't read that in anything else ever, so that was really nice to see. Pantomime by Laura Mann. It's the first book in a trilogy, has an intersex protagonist, and it's about their like running away from home and joining a circus. It's literally about that. I haven't seen a book with an intersex character before. I've only read the first one. I haven't read the next two. It's a YA book, but also my mum really likes it, so it's appealing to multiple audiences there. Fun Home by Alison Bechdel is a great comic about her life growing up and her dad, who's also queer. It is now a Tony-winning musical, which is weird.
Cool.
But good, and it's really good. It's called The Truth About Keeping Secrets by Savannah Brown. I have been reading for 2 months, and I keep putting it down and not touching it because it's so good I don't want it to be over yet, which is not something I've done with anything ever. It's like set up as sort of a mystery, but the main thing driving the plot is a will they won't they between the main character Sydney and this girl called June. Sydney's dad dies at the beginning of the story, and it's, did somebody kill him? What happened? I don't know. And then these people become friends, and there's this whole thing, and it's really good. It's a different day now, but I forgot a book that is really good, so just pretend we're wearing the same clothes as before. Leah on the Offbeat by Becky Arbitelli, the writer of Simon versus the Homo sapiens Agenda, which
cool.
became Love, Simon. So it's about Leah, who is Simon's best friend, played by the 13 Reasons Why girl in the film. She's bi, and then it's about her blossoming relationship with Abby, your favourite character from the film. I remember thinking in the film, because there were points where I thought she was going to come out as well, and then I thought, well, that can't happen because it only happens in real life. Because it would just be too gay. Which is a weird thing to think about, like a film, when you've lived a life that's more gay than that. Just saying. There's a really good line in it. She's describing herself, and she says, the fat Slytherin Rory Gilmore, and I just have never felt more seen. It's so good. It's so good. And she's like, not rich, because Simon's rich, and everything about Love, Simon was very rich.
So many iPads.
Yeah, I read it when I had to be up really early for class the next day, and I finished it at like 2 a.m. I read it in one sitting, and I just couldn't sleep because it was so lovely, and I was so happy. It was ridiculous. Highly recommend that. Really, really good. I should say I haven't read Love, Simon. We saw the film.
Yeah.
He's not the kind of guy that interests me.
Do you think they'll do a film of this one?
I hope so. But they'll be too old, won't they? Because this is like immediately after the thing. No one was like thinking about going off to college, and Simon is still a in my opinion. Yeah. I don't know what that nice boy sees in him.
I guess he didn't see everything we saw.
True.
In the film.
Or, you know what else is good about the book? She still hates Martin. Like, everybody else is like, oh, hey, Martin. And she's like, I don't know why people are still saying hello to him. He was like, he did the worst thing ever.
Is it a 2-book series? Is there more?
I have no idea. I don't think so. It only came out, I think I got it like as soon as it came out. Miscellaneous web series. Barbell season 2 just came out on YouTube. Comedy series, lesbians, great, wonderful. Music business. Yep. Other, The Funeral Director is a play that I saw at the Traverse Theatre. I also bought the text and read that. It's about a Muslim woman who's married and runs a funeral home. This guy comes in the middle of the night and asks for them to do his partner's funeral, and they turn him away, and then he sues them, and it's really good. 4 Weddings and a Funeral sequel. Have you seen it yet?
No.
Well then, I'm not going to say anything about it, but watch it.
Okay.
Watch it.
I just didn't love the live actually one, and now I just think...
Just watch it.
Okay.
Watch it. If you have seen 4 Weddings and a Funeral and you enjoyed it, watch the sequel. I cried through the whole thing.
Is that good, or is that just...
No, it's good. It's really good. Okay. It's everything I've ever wanted.
Oh, okay.
And it was just lovely. Fat Blokes. Scotty's Fat Blokes. That was quite good.
Yeah. I've heard about that.
I watched that at the Traverse as well. It's like taking up space as fat queer men. And then I want to recommend the podcast Unexpected Fluids, which is about sex. And they've got a really good episode with Desiree Akban as well.
Oh, okay.
Where she talks about the miseducation of Cameron Post.
So this has been our recommendation list for books and misc. If you've got any recommendations that you want us to check out, leave them in the comments below and we'll try and get to them. I've got a lot of work to do because I haven't seen most of the stuff that Beth just talked about, and most of it seemed really good. Like and subscribe. You can follow us on Twitter at LGBTQ_review. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. I've been James, it's been Beth.
Goodbye.
We'll try and do more.